What's up, YouTube? It's your boy G Money, aka the Echelon Don, and I'm my brother's keeper. Yes, I am. And this is another episode of Sidewalk Talk. A couple days ago, I had made a video about my experience, my first time being outside of my vehicle and basically being close or having interactions with a police officer up close with my firearm on me, concealed, and how nervous I was about the situation, which leads me to bring up my topic for today's video. Um, my biggest fear, um, uh, as being a concealed carrier, my biggest fear being a concealed carrier, which is crazy that you should feel this way, because your biggest fear should be, you know, having to use your weapon against a criminal, or a criminal trying to do something to you, and you have to defend yourself. That should be your biggest fear, as a concealed carrier. But my biggest fear is not really against the criminals. My biggest fear is getting pulled over by either a nervous or a overly aggressive police officer, and I have to inform him that I have a firearm on me, and this officer either gets even more aggressive or paranoid or even more nervous and shaky and starts acting weird, and starts acting real scary. Where's the firearm? Where's the firearm? Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Don't move. Don't move. Let me see your hands. That's my biggest fear right there. He just clutching and reaching for his firearm. And now you're in a situation where any movement, any movement could be life or death for you, because this officer is in fear of his life, which he shouldn't be, because if you're notifying him that you have a concealed license, you know, and there's no aggression or anything being, he should be able to take that. I mean, everything has a precaution. Their life is important too. So I can understand them not wanting to get put in a bad situation and get shot or killed either. But aggression is not always the first thing you go to when you hear, yes, I have a firearm on me, because people are allowed to have firearms. So you can't just jump right to aggression or being scary, and turning this situation to, it could have been a simple me passing you my license and showing you my license, and that being the end of it, to you drawing a weapon on me, and now I'm feeling like I have to protect my life against the police. What happens if this police officer gets jumpy, reaches for his gun, and now I feel like my life is in danger, and I gotta reach for my gun to save myself, and I'm in a shootout with the law now. And now all of a sudden I'm a fugitive or something, because now it's gonna look like, oh, this guy was pulled over, and then all of a sudden, he's in a shootout with the police. He's wanted. He's like, whoa, wait a second, hold up. How did I go from a traffic stop to a fugitive? Because I defended myself against a police officer that can't control his emotions. That's scary. That's a scary situation to be in. Like, who do you can't call anybody. You can't call the police on the police. You can say, can you get your senior, or your what is it called? whoever's in charge of him. I forgot whatever it is, but can I speak to that person, and hopefully they'll respect it and go get that person. But if not, that's the person you got to deal with. They might not call that person because they too hyped and paranoid right now. Now they're giving you orders to step out of the vehicle and you got a gun aimed at you or something like that. So that's my biggest fear right now as being a concealed carrier. And I hate to bring this up, but this is it's a major factor into it. Whether you want to believe it or not, race is a major factor into how some of these situations get handled. A lot of police officers are, it seems like, terrified when they find out a black person has a firearm. All of a sudden, like, the antennas go up 1,000 times higher. It's like, okay, yes, I have a firearm in the car. Oh, whoa, where's it at? Where's it at? Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. But I was like, okay, first of all, if I was trying to do something to you, if I was trying to be sneaky, I wouldn't even have told you I had a firearm in the car. I would have tried to be sneaky and get away without even letting you know I have a firearm. And then I wouldn't be, I'm letting you know that I have, a concealed carry license. So calm down, but it all depends on the luck of the draw. What kind of police officer you get? Are you getting a veteran that's reasonable and understands the law and what's going on, or are you getting some kind of new guy on the street that's trying to make a name for himself, or think he's some kind of tough guy now because he got a badge and he got a uniform? It depends on what situation you end up in, but it can turn out real bad, man. Just having, you carrying legally, you're not doing nothing illegal at all. It depends on the person that you encounter, and that's one of my biggest fears of carrying, um, of just carrying a firearm. Even, like I said, even legally, that's still a fear. It's a shame that it has to be a fear with the police, the people that's supposed to be helping you. The people that you're supposed to be able to depend on for assistance if something goes wrong. For one of your fears to be encounter with one of them, is that's bad that we got to this state right now. Um, um, it's fucked up for real. But it's the honest to God truth. It's something that people don't want to talk about, but it's the honest to God truth. A lot of people carrying it could actually be the thing that kills you, or get you locked up, or get you. It's like a double-edged sword sometimes. It's like, okay, you got something to protect yourself, but then the police officers act like they don't understand the law, and get aggressive with you for doing something that you're legally able to do. So, you gotta be careful out there, man. It might not be everybody's fear, but it's definitely on my top 5 for worries and things that I think about, encountering. Hopefully I don't ever have to encounter an aggressive police officer or a scary police officer, and which I'm carrying every day. So, hopefully that doesn't happen. But that's what this video was about, y'all. Like I said, it's a shame that I have to be more worried about the police than I have to do terrorists or just regular criminals in the street. You got enough to worry about, and then you got to worry about the law also. That's a damn shame, but it's a reality because it's happening. It's happening all over the world. People are getting getting put in worse situations. Just imagine, think about that for a minute. You step out the house one day just to go run an errand, and you get pulled over because you didn't use your blinker, and you don't have a criminal record or nothing. You're nothing. Your record is clean as hell. You just went out to go get grocery shopping or something, You get pulled over because you didn't use a blinker, and next thing you know, you telling the officer that you have a weapon in the car, and now you got weapons drawn on you, or you know, and or he's telling you to get out the car, he's calling backup, and you got a gun aimed at your head. You know, like that. That's a terrible situation, man, to be in, and that's also a situation where you feel like, okay, what do I do now? Because do I, you know, if I make the wrong move, you know, and I will give this advice: if an officer tells you, which they shouldn't tell you this, but if an officer tells you, hand me the gun, do not go reach for your gun to hand that gun to that officer. You tell that officer politely, hey, sir, I don't feel comfortable reaching for my firearm. I'll keep my hands up and I will let you reach for it. I will tell you exactly where it's at. You know, I will open my door. I will exit my vehicle. I don't, um, I'm not allowing you to search my vehicle, but I am allowing you to grab my firearm. I do not consent to a search, but I am allowing you to grab my firearm. But I do not feel comfortable reaching for my firearm. Do not reach for your firearm, no matter what, because that is a green light for the, oh, he's reaching, you know, and that's the end of it. That's it. Do not do that, man. I don't know what officer would tell you to do that, but if an officer ever tell you, reach for your firearm slowly and hand it to me, no, do not do that. You let them reach for it. You keep your hands up. You keep your hands up and where everybody can see them. But I'm not gonna keep this video long. I just wanted to talk about that. This is your boy G Money, aka the Echelon Don. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. And this has been another episode of Sidewalk Talk. Hey y'all, man, please, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you new. I have a lot of good content. Um, you know, for some reason, I'm in a dry spell right now. I'm really not moving like I feel like I should be moving. Um, you know, just support, man, if you can. If you like the content, support. And you know, I support back if you have a channel and you got something going on. But y'all have a nice day, man. God bless y'all, man. I'm out.